Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that we extend a warm welcome to everyone to the first Geotech Asia International Conference taking place over 4 exciting days from today, 7th of October to 10th of October 2025. Geotech Asia is a new series of regional geotechnical engineering conferences launched by the International Society of Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering. IIT Bombay is a collaborative institution and the IGS Mumbai chapter is a joint facilitator. The theme of the first Geotech Asia International Conference is GeoVadis, the future of geotechnical engineering. The word GeoVadis beautifully blends geo with the Latin vadis, meaning to move forward, symbolizing our collective journey toward the future of geotechnical engineering. With 19 diverse themes, the conference provides an inspiring platform for engineers, researchers, academicians, industry experts, students, and professionals from across the geotechnical field to exchange ideas and share their latest experiences and developments. We look forward to Geotech Asia being both professionally enriching and scientifically stimulating, while also providing a truly enjoyable experience for everyone in the tradition of previous Asian regional geotechnical conferences. In the words of Dr. Anil Joseph, President of Indian Geotechnical Society, the making of Geotech Asia 2025 is not just the story of a conference. It is a journey of vision, resilience, and friendship. As beautifully expressed by Dr. Mark Belaus, the president of ISSMG, this gathering represents geotechnical brothers without borders. And indeed, as we gather here today, we celebrate not only an event, but a shared spirit of collaboration that truly builds bridges across borders.
Before we start off a day packed with enriching talks, to invoke the blessings of God Almighty, we have the performers with the traditional lamp dance of Goa, also called the Divlyanso Nats, and it is being performed by the Rangamel group. Let us sit back and watch the beautiful ladies dance to our hearts with slow rhythmic movements and intricate footwork. The dance, which symbolizes light, devotion, and cultural heritage, is a perfect to set the tone for the first ever Geotech Asia conference hosted in India.
A big round of applause for them, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we just watched the traditional Goan lamb dance, and the dance, which symbolizes light, devotion, and cultural heritage, is perfect to start day one with much enthusiasm and energy. We move on to the next proceedings. We invite on stage Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, request all of you to kindly get back to the hall. We are going to start with the opening ceremony. Request everyone to kindly be seated.
Professor Ashish Juneja, Organizing Chairman, First Geotech Asia 2025, and Professor, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay.
Dr. Anil Joseph, President, Indian Geotechnical Society and the Organizing Chairman of First Geotech Asia 2025.
Dr. Mark Balouz, President, ISSMGE.
Professor K. Jian Shou, the Vice President Asia of ISSMGE.
Professor T.G. Sitaram, Chairman, AICTE.
Professor Chung Sik Yu, President of FED IGS.
Professor Anand Puppala, Treasurer, Geo Institute, USA.
Professor Paulo Venda Oliveira, President of the Portuguese Geotechnical Society.
Professor Roberto Coutinho, President, Brazilian Association of Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering.
Welcome you all, sirs. Without further ado, I invite Professor Dasaka S. Murthy, the Organizing Chairman, First Geotech Asia 2025, and Professor, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, for the welcome address.
Namaste to all the dignitaries present here, and warm good morning. On behalf of the organizing committee of the Geotech Asia 2025, it's my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this opening ceremony. And we are here in the vibrant city of Goa. We gather this year here under the visionary theme, GeoVadis, the future of geotechnical engineering, a forward-looking dialogue into the technologies, innovations, and responsibilities shaping the future of our field. This word GeoVadis is drawn from Latin roots, signifies a journey through the earth, an apt metaphor for geotechnical engineering in the 21st century, where our work must not only go deeper as geotechnical engineer, but also go farther in sustainability, resilience, and collaboration. We are proud to welcome over 600 delegates from across the globe, engineers, researchers, academicians, policymakers, and industry leaders who represent the growing dynamism and diversity of geotechnical engineering today. A special welcome to our esteemed speakers, experts who have traveled from Nepal, Sri Lanka, Iran, Iraq, Taiwan, China, Japan, Korea, Philippines, Brazil, Portugal, the United States, Australia, and many other nations to share their insights, experiences, and cutting-edge research. It is particularly gratifying to see such a strong international engagement at this edition of Geotech Asia, thanks to the pre-conference workshops which we had yesterday, wherein several events were taken place. In an era where global cooperation is more important than ever, your presence underscores the shared challenges we face and the shared solutions we must force in the domains of infrastructure, climate resilience, smart materials, and geohazard mitigation. We are deeply thankful to our title sponsors, Sunny Sankla and J. Kumar Infra, of course, other sponsors whose generous support has made this gathering possible. Your commitment to advancing the profession and fostering a space for innovation is sincerely appreciated. Over the next 4 days, we will witness a rich exchange of ideas from keynote addresses and panel discussions and several technical sessions. This is not just a conference. Please remember, it is a platform to inspire, question ourselves, and connect. I encourage all of you to engage deeply, network widely, and of course, enjoy the culture, food, and heritage that Goa has to offer. In closing, let me express my heartfelt gratitude to our entire organizing team, volunteers, partners, and contributors who have worked tirelessly to bring this event to life. Let us make Geotech Asia 2025 a landmark in our collective journey, a true GeoVadis towards a smarter, safer, and more sustainable future in geotechnical engineering. Thank you once again, and welcome you all.
Thank you, sir, for formally welcoming everyone. Now, to brief us about First Geotech Asia, I invite Professor Ashish Juneja, Organizing Chairman, First Geotech Asia 2025, and Professor, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay.
Good morning. Good morning, respected dignitaries, distinguished guests, and students. On behalf of the organizing committee, it is my great privilege to welcome you all to the first ever Geotech Asia International Conference. So we had the privilege of giving a brand name, which I think will not change for eternity. Welcome to this beautiful state of Goa at the Taj Sidaje, the Goa horizon. This conference does mark an historic moment because, just mentioned, it's the first of the Geotech Asia series. It's also the inaugural of, this new series is inaugural of a new series which begins between normal ARCs, which you're very familiar with. The idea was to give more frequent opportunities for exchange, collaboration, and of course, technical interaction. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude for all of you for being here. Some of you who have traveled great distances, as Murthy just said, and thank you very much for sharing your expertise. As Murthy also mentioned, to sponsors and exhibitors have contributed to great support to our cause. And of course, the committee members and the various volunteers. They all have worked for long, eternity time to make this event truly success. The theme itself, GeoVadis, which was chosen, it was chosen just so that the future of geotechnical engineering, it envisions how our practice and use of emerging technologies, they can come together to shape our field. We have distinguished keynotes, invited speakers, thematic speakers, and panel presentations. So this is, in order to give an opportunity for all the dignitaries to make a proper presentation, we have avoided poster presentations in a way that so that we have increased the number of panel sessions. Most of the panel sessions would be in this block, which we see. So the ground floor has 3. The floor above has remaining 4. There is one different which is all day, all night. I would like you to make note, please. All day, all night is, as you enter the lobby, it is on the right side. So from the lobby, you enter and you turn right. Take the elevator down to UG. It's right next to the entrance of C2C restaurant. So please be aware that we do have a session there, and it will be very interesting the way we have lined up. This conference, of course, in a way, bridges between theory practice, as we've seen, and engineers and experts who are here. Each one of you would, of course, leave with an enriched and broader knowledge, network, background. And of course, the challenges which you see in terms of the renewed energy which is there. I thank you again, and of course, welcome to Goa. Welcome to Geotech Asia 2025. May this be the engaging and inspiring moment for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
I just have two more points, sorry, just before I forget. There is a welcome for gala dinner, which if anyone, we have very limited seats, and also for the spouse program. Spouse program, we have just 30 seats because of the limit size of the bus, and we are almost touching that. So if anyone is really keen to it, please let us know at the staff at the reception. The second is, of course, because we have all the speakers have been lined up, my request is to please respect the time for the next speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let us now invite Dr. Anil Joseph, the President of Indian Geotechnical Society and the Organizing Chairman of First Geotech Asia 2025, to talk to us about the journey of Indian Geotechnical Society.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to stand here. And when my memories take back to the day when I got elected as the president of the Indian Geotechnical Society, soon our past president, Dr. K.S. Rao, came down to Cochin just to meet me, and we have a one-day session. He had a plan what Indian Geotechnical Society is all to be, and a vision seeds was laid during that one-day interaction. The main point is that we have to increase the membership number, we have to be more interactive with the society where we needed, and importantly, we have to get the Asian Regional Conference to India, and coming in 2034 or 2038, we should host the International Conference of Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering in India. It was a long journey with the energy driven from that. The journey started. We made a lot of good friends thanks to the team. Firstly, I would like to thank the Nepal Geotechnical Society for inviting us, Netra Bhandari and Mandeep Subedi, and there we made the Association of Geotechnical Society of South Asia, comprising of India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nepal. So together, we made a strong platform of brotherhood. Then in Sydney, I met this wonderful man who took the chair and the magician of the geotechnical engineering as the president of the International Society of Geotechnical Engineering, our own hero, Mark Ballos. He has such a way of dealing with things and handling things that it excites everyone around him. Thank you, Mark, for all the guidance, all the way forward he has shown here and taking us forward. This Geotech Asia concept was that every 4 years ARC comes in, and there is a gap between that. And this idea, thanks to the interaction and the idea seed was laid by our own Vice President, dear Albert, who came up with this idea, let us propose something in between ARCs so that there are 26 countries in Asia. We are adding 4 more. So Professor KG and Shu came with this idea, and we proposed it to Mark, and it was put to voting in the Asian Council meeting in Astana. And there was a bit of confusion whether it has to be there or not, but when we told that when there are 26 countries And if it happens in 4 years, one country will take 104 years to get it back. So this idea to make it in every 2 years came there, and we voted. Thanks to our Asian brothers, we won 18-3. So this idea came in, and India's proposal of having the first Geotech Asia, there were nobody challenging. There were 4 candidates for the ARC: Thailand, Iran, and Pakistan and India. And with the brotherhoods we had, everyone withdrawn. And India had this opportunity to host this Geotech Asia 2025. Once this thing, then next, the day from Astana to here was a journey, traveling across the globe, trying to get people, connect with them, and thanks to the Indian team, we went across and made sure that we get our friends together. And like Mark always say, geotechnical engineering without borders, that's the vision we have. Thanks to Fed IG's president, thanks that the entire team is here, thank you all for here, and thanks to again President Mark, ISSMG board is here. Our guru in our field of geotechnical engineering, we call him TGS. That is Total Geotechnical Solution. That is none other than our beloved chairman of the All India Council of Technical Education. He guides 10 lakh engineers coming up in India. So we produce 15 lakh engineers every year, and almost 14 lakhs engineers are being generated. The man who advises our government how the engineering has to be all about. And thank you, Sitaram sir, for blessing this August gathering and for your valuable presence. And thanks to Chexico, the Fed IGS president, to be here. So this journey started there. We went across, we made friends across, thanks to my friends from Mexico, Walter, Chile, Daniela, and all the friends across. If you name, it might take so much of time, but the network of geotechnical engineering gave me friends across the world. Iraq, Iran, anything, we have friends. And we realize that most important thing, the life of the people are in our hand. Whenever a landslide happens, whenever a major disaster happens, whenever a building goes down, I cry. I feel that we are not doing the duty what is assigned to us. It is, we create engineers with proper knowledge and proper capability to build strong foundation, understand our engineering, which Carl Terzaghi has started very beautifully in 1926 from Vienna. We can make a change in the system. That has to come in, and we have to fight for that. And we realize that bringing the borders, we have the same problem, whether it is in Chile earthquakes, or in landslides in Himalayas, in Nepal, or in our own area when Joshimath is singing. Go to any places, we have unique same problem. Portugal, the same problem. I would like to thank my friends, especially Goa, which is have a 400 years of history of Portugal connection. And I would like to thank Paulo, the president of the Portugal Geotechnical Society, for being here with us and blessing us in this August gathering. Also, I had made a good friendship with the Brazilian Geotechnical Society when they also invited me for their 75th year of celebration. So all of us are 75, 76, and 77 years of age, each societies. Thank you, Roberto, for being here and blessing this gathering. Also, I would like to sum up now. I know I was supposed to speak only 5 minutes. Now this is the 5th minute for me. So my very good friend, we met in 2012, and a mentor for my son, Mr. Anand Puppala is here. I would like to, representing Geo Institute USA, Anand is going to be the president of Geo Institute soon. Congratulations for that. And I take this opportunity to thank Anand for coming up and blessing this ordering. If I keep on, I just want to add 2 things. When we got this Geotech Asia, or when we bidded for that, the idea was that we were all sitting in Bhubaneswar, and I was telling that Ashish and Dasaka was there. I told them, we have a major thing coming in, Indian Geotechnical Conference is not the big thing. Let us try to do something different, and if it comes in, you people are going to host this. Thanks to them, in India we play a lot of cricket, and we are all cricket fans. And we have asked the person who is the coach of the team. I had the responsibility to get big talent, and I got my Dhoni and Kohli in the name of Ashish and Dasaka, who is make sure that we are safe. And whenever Dhoni and Kohli goes in, Indians are very happy. They are going to hit the ball out of the court, and India is going to win. Definitely, they did a fabulous job. I wonder, Ashish sends me mail at 1 o'clock, and again get the mail at 4 o'clock from him. So he was in front of the computer, thanks to all who come from different part, because due to our policies, we were not able to get visas for many. We missed them, but they will join online. Thank you all once again. This is a great opportunity. I welcome all of you. Don't just attend to the conference. We have a big package, which Ashish pointed out. People from across the globe here sharing the state-of-the-art technologies, but don't forget to enjoy Goa. So Goa is a place where tradition meets innovation and technology stands together. It's beautiful beaches, a beautiful networking party. So enjoy the party, but come next day morning, 9 o'clock, when the conference starts. Thank you all and have a great time here. Together we'll make it a grand success. And we strongly believe we need a strong foundation for the growth of our country and the growth of the world. We will be united to make it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for such an energetic welcome to everyone. We now invite Dr. Mark Baloos, President, ISSMG, for the opening address.
Hello, everyone. You can tell I'm happy, but I'm also honored to be here. 3 years ago, when I became president, I used to start my opening address by saying, oh, it's good to see Dr. X, my friend, Professor Y in the audience. I'm so happy I can no longer say that because you are all my friends. And I will always be grateful that I have friends all around the world, grateful to this profession, to the society, and I'm very happy. Thank you so much for inviting me. The second thing, I like to borrow the light, candle light, so chandelier, and I want to test it, but I will use my engineering skills and put a big magnet here and prove that it will not fall. I don't know how they do it, but second, there is a big spelling error. Where is in the title of this conference? Because when you see friends from Mexico, USA, Chile, Brazil, and I'm going swap this way, Portugal, France, Greece, I'm sure I'm forgetting Egypt, all the way to Lebanon, Iraq, Nepal, Kazakhstan, Bangladesh, India, of course, and then Korea, Japan. I mean, this is not Geotech Asia, my friend. This is Geotech the world. Excellent job, organizing committee. I like to start my presentation. I have maybe 5 minutes left. I have to tell you what is ISSMG as president. I don't know if you can, do you have my presentation to roll it? If we don't have time, it's okay, but I have a few slides. Russell, that's why I asked you about your name. It's ISSMGE. Yes, that's the one. I don't have the mouse, but I will tell you to flip. We can start by, So ISSMGE is the oldest and largest society representing geotechnical engineering worldwide. It was established. Could I have a mouse? Yeah. You can keep rolling. It's okay. I can. By the father of modern geotechnics, Carl Terzaghi, in 1936, and that was in Harvard. Sorry about that. I should have been the green. So this is a famous picture in Harvard. You can see Terzaghi here on the left, but also you can see Casagrande, Spencer Buchanan, Proctor, Osterberg. So this is how modern geotechnics started. Engineering, geology also, they use the same slide. In ISSMGE, we are now 91 country members after adding recently, 2 weeks ago, the United Arab Emirates, and this is the council. Presidents, you can see the list of presidents, and I'm president number 18. The structure of ISSMGE, you have the council in green on the top, which is the legislation if you want, and then the executive committee, which is the board with president, 6 vice presidents, immediate past president, 3 appointed members, and the secretary general. And together we did so many good stuff then, and along with all the board level committees, and I will show you briefly what has been done. This is the board in recent picture in Chile, and what's nice, in this conference we agreed to have a board meeting, and I like for the board member to please stand up. If you are in the audience, Walter, Marwan, Daniela, Andrew, and board level committees too, Ash, Pierre, and feel free to mingle, rub shoulders with them. And I want to thank you because without you, I couldn't do anything really. It's a team effort. I will show you briefly what has been done besides the operation that has been going for almost 100 years. We have a new Secretary General, not new anymore, but in Astana, after 24 years of Neil Taylor taking that position, we have Dr. Andrew McNamara. You will see emails coming from him. The foundation, we adjusted the donations, so now young engineers can apply and be funded to go attend international conferences offered by ISSMGE, this financial support. HTC, the Heritage Time Capsule, did a huge jump. Unfortunately, Sukumar could not be with us, but we have a separate website now. It's like our museum, electronic museum. All documents from all around the world in all languages are stored there. And we are planning a big thing, a physical time capsule for the Vienna conference next year. It will be a big glass closet where we put stuff that we've been doing, you know, that represent what we've been doing for the past 100 years. It will be locked at the Museum of Terzaghe, the new museum that will be launched in Vienna. It will be locked for the next 100 years. So in 100 years, the geotechnical engineers then, if they are still existing, will open that closet and see how bad we were doing in the past. I'm excited about that. Another exciting dream that came true because of you, Pierre, with us, the GeoWeb, and Daniela, by the way, great job. Geoengineers Without Borders is a project where we show solidarity and support to our colleagues worldwide. Wherever there is a geodisaster, ISSMG is ready to send volunteers, 1, 2 engineers, to support, help with the reconnaissance, and issue a small report. Again, all of you are invited to be volunteers. The bulletin, here are examples in Brazil and New Guinea with Dr. Marino and Dr. Kupeg as GeoWeb volunteers. The bulletin is another big step we did. I really encourage you to be there. Many of you already published there. The Indian Society did. It's an easy e-magazine kind, 60 pages plus. You flip with the finger, zoom in, zoom out. We did a lot of things in that major jump. 2 years ago, we have so far 6 issues. You can visit on the website. We have a new publication committee. This is a committee that maintains the journal we have, but also is creating a new journal for research. So now we will have a case histories journal and a research journal, besides the hundreds of webinars, lectures, all for free access, in the videos in the virtual university, all free access, open access to all of you. A major step was creation of the Elam Medal, International Lifetime Achievement Medal. Every year, 2 winners, and you see here the winners. This year, our winners were from Brazil and from Japan, and we have today, I'm so happy to have delegation from Brazil and the delegation from Japan. I have with me the medal for the only person who didn't receive it yet by hand, but it will get there. I don't know if the camera can take it. It's a solid gold medal to Professor Ishihara, and yeah, solid gold. It is the most prestigious geotechnical award you can get yearly, and from the winners you can see why. Another announcement, Terzaghi oration. The winner is Professor Bio, and you will hear his lecture if you go to Vienna, and I'd like all of you to be in Vienna. We will probably show the video of the Vienna International Conference at the end of this conference. And the door is open to apply for outstanding awards that we will be given in Vienna, especially for the Indian Geotech Society. You have to apply for the Outstanding Member Society Award. I'm encouraging you. I'm not telling you you're gonna win because I don't have a say in that, but I'm encouraging you. Again, idea is from the IDC, Innovation Development Committee. We're creating a new app. We have the Professional Image Committee that shows and improves our professional image worldwide. Technical Oversight Committee, you know this is the main horse. I will show you a separate slide on that. And I created the IITT. At the beginning, I was begging speakers to join me on these talks, but now it's becoming so popular. We did cover about 27 topics out of the 40 subspecialties in geotech. This is where we gather young, renowned from all over the world to discuss one subject once a month or once every 2 months. And yeah, 27 episodes already are online. CAPG, we have a new chair. I don't know if he got here already, Roger. He's coming to this conference. We have a new pay page. You can pay directly online and join us as a company. And our marketing campaign will start soon from 50 to 500. I would like all the companies here present to join ISSMGE. Young member presidential group, Dr. Ash Cooper, you are with us, and I'm so happy to tell everyone how active and how energetic this group is. You're helping with the IITT, you're helping with the BSL Awards, and you have your own activities, conferences. That's amazing. You are the future with all the committee and the young geotechnical engineers in the world. We are here because of you, because you are giving us that push to keep going. I gave so far about 60 plus Bright Spark Lecture Awards, and we have 2 winners in this conference, and it will be my honor to give them that award. This is an award that ISSMG is telling that young engineer that you are at the level of giving a keynote lecture. Finally, ISSMGE is part of the FIDICS, and we are lucky to have the FIDICS board with us, with the president, and we are preparing a mega conference, and I invite all of you to be at that mega conference in 2030, where we are gathering all engineering geologists, engineering geosynthetic people, and engineering rock mechanics people. We are all geoengineers in the world will be in at this conference, and geotechnical engineers, soil mechanics, ISSMG is supporting that conference. And it will be the second one. The first one happened in the year 2000 in Australia. So the second one will be who knows where, but wherever it is, I expect to see all of you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have a great team. Please stay connected to your international family. We have 2 videos. I don't know if we can show them during this conference. One, why be a member society, and thanking those who are all the member societies that are active, and the second same for all the corporate associates. Great initiative. We succeeded. I will never forget all the technical committees, and many of you are part of those technical committees. We are at the end, an educational society trying to improve and advance and promote this profession. About 40 of them within ISSMGE, 4 of them within FIDIGS. Finally, many of you know me from before, and if you look at me now, they keep telling me you're tired, you have lines all over your face, you're becoming old, and now you know why. In 3 years plus a little bit, I toured the world about 4 times, visited 48 countries, 264 activities and events, including this one, it will be 265. Finally, one final equation that many of you know, the geoengineering fundamental equation is very clear in that slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. To present a memento to Dr. Mark Balaus as a token of gratitude from the entire geotechnical fraternity present here, I invite Dr. Anil Joseph. Let us now invite Professor K. Jian Shu, the Vice President, Asia, ISSMG, to address the audience.
Morning, everyone. Professor Yu, President Balaus, and President Anil, it's my pleasure to be here. As you know from what Anil mentioned, there's a story behind this event. However, I would like to acknowledge the organizing committee and the speakers and the sponsors to make this event possible. And also, as you can see from the first slide, this event is quite successful. We have more than 650 attendees and more than 28 countries. This is about the same as our regular Asian regional conference. So I think that this is a very successful inauguration of our second series of Asian regional conference, Geotech Asia. I hope that the following one, 4 years later, will be a good one as well. As you may know from the program, where we will have keynote speakers, we have invited speakers, and also we have presentations with the focus of the future of geotechnical engineering. I think if you look through the details of this presentations, they are all related to the demand and challenges in the Asian region and also in the world. And also, we also have 3 panel discussions. I believe that through those discussions, we will have brainstorming and good outcome from the discussions. I hope that, finally, I hope that you will enjoy the brainstorming in the conference and have a good time in this beautiful city, Goa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. To present a memento as token of her gratitude to Professor K. Jian Shu, I invite Professor Ashish Juneja. Thank you, sirs. Inviting Professor T.G. Sitaram, the chairman of AICTE, to address the esteemed gathering.
Very good morning to all of you. Namaskar. For all the distinguished guests who have come from different parts of the world, welcome to India. Distinguished guests on the dais, off the dais, and particularly the President ISMMGE, Vice President Asia ISMGE, and President IGS, and all the past president of vice presidents of Asia, board members of Fed IGS, and all the distinguished colleagues and participants in this conference, Geotech Asia 2025. Namaskar. Warm greetings to all of you. It's really a great pleasure to be here today to address this gathering at Geotech Asia 2025. It's a vibrant land of Goa, a confluence of nature's beauty and engineering innovation. You saw a lot of developments in Goa now. See, while coming, you might have seen a suspension bridge and also a new airport. So, first of all, let me congratulate the organizing committee for bringing together experts from across Asia and beyond to deliberate on the new frontiers in geotechnical engineering, a discipline that forms the unseen foundation of our modern civilization. I would like to quote, "When we understand the earth beneath, we build with confidence above." So this gathering is not just a technical conference, friends. It's a celebration of science, and as President puts it, soil and sustainability, which all come together. The foundation beneath our progress, which is geotechnical engineering, though often invisible to the public eye, literally supports every structure that defines our progress. Whether it is highways, airports, metros, dams, ports, tunnels, nuclear plants, or even smart cities. When the ground beneath is understood, strengthened, and respected, everything built above stands secure. Friends, as India undertakes a massive infrastructure transformation, from Bharatmala to Sagarmala to smart cities, or even high-speed rail corridors, the contribution of geotechnical engineers becomes even more central. The resilience of our structures, the safety of our people, and the sustainability of our environment all depend on how well we understand and utilize the earth beneath us. Geotechnical engineering is the silent strength beneath every structure, unseen, yet holding the weight of the nations. Friends, this platform has successfully brought together experts from across the world, universities, research laboratories, consultants, industry partners, to share their experiences, data, models, and innovation. Through this collective effort, we are emerging as a knowledge powerhouse, generating advanced studies on ground improvement, earthquake geotechnics, climate resilient foundations, and intelligent sensing in geotechnical system, etc. So under International Society of Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering's global umbrella and the Asian Geotechnical Societies, the Geotech Asia under IGS embodies the very spirit of scientific cooperation, where borders are transcended by curiosity, collaboration, and compassion. Friends, India today is rise in science and technology. India today stands as a defining moment in its scientific journey. from space exploration to quantum computing, from renewable energy to digital governance. The nation is rapidly ascending as a global technology leader. Our engineers and scientists are driving innovation not only for India but for the world. So I keep saying this wherever I address, that we have delivered engineering and management education to the world, because all our engineers are working in all the countries and all companies, and particularly the 500 top technology companies are today headed by Indian diaspora. So our engineers and scientists are driving innovation. The successful Chandrayaan, our Aditya L1 missions, indigenous defense systems, and the expanding semiconductor ecosystem all reflect India's growing confidence in science-led nation building. In this progress, what we are going to talk in this conference, civil and geotechnical engineering have a special responsibility to ensure that our physical foundation match the strength of our scientific ambition, because we are all sitting on that Mother Earth where we are going to put our foundations. I would like to also remind our Honorable Prime Minister's call on Swadeshi, that is local for vocal, and Atmanirbharata, that is self-reliance. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi, has given a clarion call for Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India that innovates, designs, and manufactures for the world. Today, we are the third largest startup capital of the world, with 170,000 startups, and more than 150 are the unicorns. And particularly coming to the engineering and construction, this vision translates into promoting indigenous technologies for soil stabilization, ground improvements, and sustainable materials, developing homegrown instrumentation and monitoring system for geotechnical investigations is order of the day. Leveraging local knowledge, traditional wisdom, and regional material to create context-specific solutions. The local for vocal movement of Government of India reminds us that the solution to global problem often lie within our own soil, literally and figuratively. By integrating Indian research, indigenous materials, and innovative startups, we can turn the Swadeshi spirit into technological strength. The Swadeshi spirit calls us to innovate with what is ours, our land, our material, and our wisdom. In this context, today it's very important for all the young people to take up this challenge and innovate and create new innovations for the nation. Friends, geotechnical engineering is closely linked to the nation building. Every infrastructure mission of the nation, the National Infrastructure Pipeline, or mobility, stands on the shoulders of geotechnical excellence. Let us remember whether the metro systems of our cities rest on the science of tunneling and ground stability, the high-speed railways depend on soil structure interaction and foundation performance, the coastal infrastructure securing India's maritime future depends on geotechnical resilience against climate change. Thus, geotechnical engineering is not merely a branch of civil engineering, it is the bedrock of national growth, sustainability, and safety. Friends, the road ahead for us is coming decade offers unprecedented opportunities, particularly the integration of artificial intelligence, sensors, and data analytics for intelligent geotechnical monitoring. Use of bioengineered soils and carbon-neutral ground materials, development of smart geo-infrastructure that responds to stress, moisture, and temperature dynamically. Friends, we need to lead this transformation. Coming together, we can do this. Combining our ancient understanding in India of the earth with modern computational power and new technologies like artificial intelligence, we need academic industry collaborations, creation of center of excellences, and continuous capacity building for our young engineers. As being the youngest nation in the world, with very large number of young people, truly Atmanirbhar Bharat will rise not only on indigenous technology, but also on indigenous geotechnical engineering for this audience. A message to the young engineers and researchers: friends, the young people who are attending this conference represent the next leap of knowledge. Be explorers, not mere observers. Ask new questions, challenge conventions, and bring ethical innovation to every project you touch. Remember, the ground or the soil may be old, but the ideas that explore it must be new. As we move toward a developed India by 2047, that is the clarion call of our Honorable Prime Minister, the work of geotechnical engineers will remain invisible to many, yet indispensable to all. Geotechnical engineers are the bridge between nature's stability and human ambition. Let's continue to build with science, strengthen with integrity, serve with Swadeshi pride. May Geotech Asia 2025 ignite new collaborations, new technologies, and new confidence for Asia's leadership in geotechnical excellence. The future belongs to those who can make the ground itself smarter. With these words, I once again thank you very much for patiently listening to me. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. To present a memento as token of our gratitude to Professor T.G. Sitaram, the total geotechnical solution provider as aptly described by the President of IGS, I invite Professor Dasaka S. Murthy. Thank you, sirs. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now invite Professor Chung Sik Yu, President of FED IGS, to address the audience.
Dear Chairman, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Federation of International Geoengineering Societies, it is my great honor to extend my warmest congratulations on the opening of Geotech Asia 2025 here in the beautiful city of Goa. This event holds special significance as it marks the beginning of a biennial gathering dedicated to the Asian Geotechnical Societies, which complements the Asian Regional Conference of ISSMGE. First and foremost, I'd like to express my heartfelt congratulations to the organizing committee and the Indian Geotechnical Society, and your dedication and tireless efforts have made this remarkable conference possible. Congratulations. Since its founding in 1981, the Federation of International Geoengineering Society, known as FEDIX, together with its 4 member societies, ISSMG, ISRM, IAEG, and IGHES, has worked diligently to foster collaborations, promote knowledge exchange, and address global challenges in geoengineering through collective actions. I hope we continue to thrive together in these coming days. Today, unfortunately, we face growing geoengineering challenges driven by climate change and its related extreme weather events. The recent years' record-breaking heat and severe storms, catastrophic flooding, and related landslides across various continents are stark reminders that urgent action is needed to mitigate climate-related geodisasters. And geodisasters and climate change are deeply interconnected, influencing each other in complex ways. For instance, climate change alters rainfall, snowmelt, temperature, and vegetation, which have direct impact on the frequency and magnitude and distribution of landslides. So more research is needed to better understand the evolving mechanisms and to develop effective mitigation measures. Now, the term sustainability has become a common word among our societies. Now, as part of broader construction industry, the Asian geotechnical community carries a special the responsibility in advancing sustainability. Why? Because globally, construction and building accounts for 35% of total energy use and 38% of energy-related CO2 emissions. This is very unfortunate. These figures remind us that our work has a profound environmental footprint, and however, there is an equal profound opportunity for change that we can bring. So we must develop and implement sustainable geotechnical solutions, whether through innovative materials like geosynthetics and digital tools such as artificial intelligence and digital twin-based disaster prevention platform, or promoting environmentally responsible geoengineering practices. In this context, I'm sure that this conference, Geotech Asia 2025, will offer an invaluable solution to exchange ideas and inspire the next generation of geoengineering solutions. So to all the participants over the coming days, I understand that Geotech Asia 2025 will present a remarkable program, including keynote lectures, invited lectures, and technical programs. I will enjoy that program. I will participate these programs and to share my expertise and exchange ideas and foster collaborations. So beyond the technical program, I will take some time to explore what Goa will offer to me in terms of heritage and warm hospitality. So I wish you all a productive and memorable stay here in Goa, and I extend my best wishes for the success of Geotech Asia 2025. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. To present a memento as a token of gratitude to Professor Chung Sik Yu, I invite Professor Dasaka Murthy. Treasurer, Geo Institute USA, for the felicitation address.
Good morning. I want to hear good morning from you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good. You're all awake. That's good. I am awake. I just had a long flight yesterday, but I just want to say congratulations to Anil and again Ashish and Dasaka for a fantastic conference that you organized. You spent a lot of your time. Yeah, please give applause again. And also, please, whenever you have a chance, say thank you, because they really put a lot of effort, particularly this guy, Ashish. Even if I send him an email like around 2 p.m. in my time, he was responding. I don't know whether he slept in the last 6 months, but you did a fantastic job. I'm really honored to be here to present, to attend this conference. Anil asked me to give an update on this, what happened yesterday, the workshops, and I'm also going to tell you another workshop, the TC307, which is Sustainability in Geotech, which is our Professor Shaw is also a member, and again, Mark already introduced us on one of his innovation talks. So let me tell you that yesterday we have 2 workshops. First one is Indo-US workshop, and it was fantastically well attended. A lot of young members were there, a lot of wonderful talks. And one thing that came out at the end, the outcomes that I can take it from that workshop is what I think Mark and several speakers mentioned about innovation. I think Sitaram, you also touched base about innovation. So I think Parthasarathi, he mentioned maybe we should bring young members to talk about startups, try to cultivate that interest, and also bring a lot of interest in technology. There's a lot of new technology. We are all already working on artificial intelligence, machine learning, also drones, satellites. There's a way we can actually use this technology to benefit our profession. So I'm hoping from the workshop we take that point and then encourage your young members, either at your work or in your school. Please try to do that. I really think we had to do that part. The second one is the FGE, Forensic Geotechnical Engineering. It's actually organized by David Frost, Prashant. Prashant carried a lot of weight, and Shivkumar Babu. And again, a lot of wonderful talks. I missed the morning part, but I learned quite a bit about the closing remarks by Professor Frost. There's a lot of interest on INSAR technologies for asset management. And this is one area, hot area. You can crunch the numbers from your office or from your academic office and get all the health monitoring of infrastructure that can help you with proactive way of monitoring. There's a lot of wonderful talks, and again, I hope we take that part and then do this whole thing. The next one is the one that we are organizing, TC 307 workshop, which is on Thursday. And I don't know, Akanksha, if you are there somewhere in the crowd, if you don't mind standing up. I think Mark, I asked her actually, ISSMGE workshop, we want young members, because Mark is one of the big proponent of bringing women engineers into this profession. So I asked Akanksha, from being a local member, to lead this effort, and she did a fantastic job. So if you are interested in sustainability, geotechnical engineering, please come on Thursday and encourage us, okay? We are looking forward to having a wonderful workshop on that. Again, I just want to say one thing. Mark brought a lot of magic into our geotechnical profession. That magic he presents it is fantastic. It touches a lot of people. Also, I want to say that if you have a chance in the next 3 days or 4 days, try to meet 5 new members. If you have already met 5, meet 10 members. All you have to do is talk to them and just say, hey, I am this and this, what you are doing. And particularly if they are students, please talk to them. Please, Shobha Bhatia, yesterday, she made one of our workshop attendee, the lady, she asked her to ask a question. It took her 2-3 minutes, but she asked a wonderful question. So all you have to do is break the ice. So please try to meet some new members, try to talk to them. I already met Paulo, my new friend sitting next to me from Portugal. We are doing a workshop, a conference in 2 years from now, ISSMG conference in Portugal, Lisbon. So again, I hope you all will enjoy the conference and also make new friends. And again, I want to say thank you to the organizers. Anil did a fantastic job. You're a great leader. I really appreciate what you did. I think it starts from the leadership. You did a fantastic work. Again, thank you. And again, the team, outstanding team. You call them Dhoni and Kohli. Are you Boom Boom Bumrah? Okay. So by the way, I'm a big cricket fan, so I want to say that it's a really fantastic team here. And again, please give them all the congratulations and applause. Thank you for the chance.
Thank you, sir. To present a memento as a token of our appreciation to Professor Anand J. Pupala, I invite Dr. Anil Joseph. President of the Portuguese Geotechnical Society, for the felicitation address.
Dear Presidents and Vice Presidents of international and national societies, dear colleagues and participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and pleasure to speak to you today at the opening ceremony of the first Geotech Asia 2025 here in Goa. For me, as President of the Portugal Geotechnical Society, being here is very special. The long history and shared heritage between Goa and Portugal make this moment both professionally significant and personally unique. The slogan of this conference, Goa, where the sun meets the sea and tradition meets innovation, perfectly describes the spirit of this land. Goa is not only beautiful, but is also rich in history. For centuries, Portugal and Goa shared a path that left a lasting mark on its culture. We see this heritage in many ways. The white churches and cathedrals, now UNESCO World Heritage Sites, show cultural connection. The food, mixing Mediterranean techniques with local spices, tell us a story of creativity. Music, festivals, and friendliness of Goan people also reflect this rich tradition. This living heritage gives Goa its unique character. This local cultural link also teaches us something important in geotechnical engineering. Progress means building on the past, but not ignoring it. Like Goa, we must combine tradition with innovation. We must respect the ground we built on while using new ideas and technologies, balancing safety, resilience, and sustainability. This conference is more than a technical meeting. It is also a space where East and West meet again through science, through engineering, and through a shared commitment to building a better future. I sincerely thank the organizers for making this event possible and for inviting us. They have reinforced both professional ties and cultural connections. Let us be inspired by Goa, where the sun meets the sea and tradition meets innovation. I hope that this event, being fruitful exchanges, strong partnerships, and memorable experience for all of us. Thank you, and I wish you a successful and inspiring conference.
Thank you very much, Professor. To present a memento as a token of our gratitude to Professor Paulo Oliveira, I invite Dr. Dasaka Murthy. President, Brazilian Association of Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering, for the felicitation address.
Good morning for all participants. Mark Balu, President of the International Society, Dr. Anil Joseph, a friend from the India Geotech Society. On behalf of Brazilian Geotechnical Society, I would like to congratulate the ISSGE and IGS to organize this special event. Really a very important connection for all Asia. Geotech Asia will be a very important series of events for all Asia. I would like also to thank the invitation to be here. For me, and for the Brazilian society, it's really a great honor, a great pleasure to be here. We are a small but important group for Brazilians here, and we had a very important workshop, Portugal, Brazil, and India yesterday. India and Brazil has many connections. And in this period, it's very important that the two big important countries work together. We have big challenge for a sustainable development for our countries. And also a great potential to work together using tradition and innovation. Civil infrastructure is necessary and very important, and in consequence, geotechnical engineering. All civil infrastructure need geotechnical engineering. And really, I am sure that we will have an excellent technical and social event here in Goa that has historical with Portugal, but also with Brazil, because we have a very important Brazilian that was president of our international society that was born in Goa. Victor de Mello, for us, is very important also this connection. And in Goa, in Brazil, we have the Victor de Mello lecturer that is also from Portugal. Then, thank you for everyone, and thank you for your attention, and thank you again for the invitation to be here. Have a good event, a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To present a memento as a token of our appreciation to Professor Roberto Coutinho, I invite Professor Ashish Juneja. With that, we come to the end of the opening ceremony. Request Dr. Sunil S. Basarkar, Organizing Secretary of the First Geotech Asia 2025, to give the closing remarks.
Good morning and namaste to all the distinguished experts on and off the dais. On behalf of the organizer, it's my duty and privilege to propose the vote of thanks. Our appreciation to the chief guest of the conference opening ceremony, Dr. Mark Bellows, President of ISSMGE, guest of honor, Professor K. Jian Shao, Vice President Asia of ISSMGE, special and honorable invitees, Professor T.G. Sitaram, Chairman of AICT, Professor Chun Sik Yu, President FED IGS, for their valuable presence in this conference. Thank you very much. Word of appreciation to Professor Paulo Venda Oliveira, Professor Roberto Quintinal Contijo, and Professor Anandaja Pupala for their yeoman's contribution to the field of geotechnical engineering in the global arena. Thank you so much. We express our gratitude to the Chief Minister of the Goa State, Dr. Pramod Sawant, for agreeing to spare his valuable time and inaugurate the conference exhibition. This thanks goes well in advance. In the forthcoming minutes, you'll be seeing the inauguration of the exhibition. Thanks to the distinguished keynote speakers, special invitee speakers, thematic speakers, chairs and co-chairs of the sessions, experts and authors of the paper who are instrumental in taking the technical contributions to a truly thumping level. Event of this magnitude owes its support to the sponsors, exhibitors, well-wishers, and our sincere thanks goes to them. Thanks to the member of the review committee for sparing their valuable time for finalizing the papers, and to the CRS press for coming out with the volumes of the conference paper well within the time and in the inaugural session. In the coming days, we are going to see and witness events and sessions that owe sincere thanks to the services of individuals, organizations, and agencies. Our thanks goes to them. Finally, a special word of thanks to the delegates, to the audience for making it to this mega event, which promises to be an interactive and elevating experience. I thank one and all and wish everyone a rewarding experiences in this inaugural version of the Geotech Asia conferences. Thank you. Namaste to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. With that, we come to the end of this opening ceremony of the first Geotech Asia 2025. Request all the dignitaries on the dais to kindly occupy the seats on the front row. Ladies and gentlemen, next we have the plenary session 1. So while the stage is set, let us get to know as to what is the offer. We have 2 keynote lectures. The first keynote lecture will be by Dr. Mark Galaus, the President of ISSMG, on the topic Geotechnical Philosophies and Challenges in Laterally Loaded Files. And the distinguished keynote lecture 2 will be by Professor Lee Fook Hoon, Emeritus Professor, National University of Singapore, on the topic Recent Developments in Quality Assessment and Control in Deep Mixing and Jet Grouting and their Engineering Implications. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We are starting off with plenary session 1. Kindly be seated. We have as chair of plenary session 1, Professor G.L. Shivakumar Babu, the past president of Indian Geotechnical Society. Welcome, sir. And to co-chair the session, I invite Dr. A.P. Singh, the Honorary Secretary of Indian Geotechnical Society, and the Organizing Secretary of Geotech Asia 2025. Welcome on stage, sirs. Ladies and gentlemen, request all of you to be kindly seated. We are a bit behind schedule and we want to catch up the time. Please be seated. Request a chair and co-chair to take over the session.
Good morning to all. It's a pleasure to have the first plenary session this morning. And we are already late, so I thought, and then the first speaker is our President, Dr. Mark Bellows, and he doesn't need any introduction. And I request him to start his lecture, please.
Try to go fast to catch up on time. So, yes, this lecture has some philosophy in it that many of you have seen. Back to the basics. It emanates from my experience in life. But I will stress also on my specialty in laterally loaded piles, the basics of the theories, and a practical example. I hope you like it. So I have 5 chapters, and the final slide is the recommendation or conclusions. Again, the units. It's a bit noisy. If you bear with me, you will see that the units are very important. We take it for granted, but even in the USA, the top country in developments, we're still using pounds and, pounds and feet. But here, 10 milliliters of antibiotics can save your child. Here are my kids, but if you remove the M, 10 liters can really kill an elephant. This is how important units are. And it's not only in geotech, but in any engineering. Even the top NASA engineers, they didn't see the mistake coming in 1999 when they launched the first orbiter around Mars. And there was a mistake and the software input between pounds and newtons. And the worst part is that what the engineer said, everyone was amazed, we didn't catch it. So please keep watching the units, the compatibility, the logic of your answers. Another example is Flight 143, Air Canada. It's a very nice documentary on YouTube. I invite you to watch it and see how a small mistake with the units almost led to a big disaster. From intuition to judgment is another recommendation. Never ever answer by intuition. If we take a rope, we throw it around the earth. That's the red rope. You have the earth perimeter. If we take another rope, only 6 meters longer, and equally spread it around the earth, and I ask you, how high will it rise above the ground? Intuition takes us directly to very small, negligible. But the smallest theory, the simplest theory that we learned in elementary school maybe, is showing us it will rise 1 meter above the ground. So always go back to theory, even simplify the most complicated problem and solve it in the simplest equation to get a feel of the order of magnitude. Same with the paper. If you take a piece of paper, do we have a piece of paper? And you flip it. So we're bending the paper 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 50 times. And the question is, how thick will it be? 10 centimeter, 1 meter? And if you put the equation, you will see that you are 140 million miles or 225 million kilometers. That's even further than the moon. It's the average distance between the Earth and Mars. So intuition is your enemy in engineering unless it becomes an experience. So use judgment and check every answer before giving it by intuition. Solje is another principle that before giving an answer, collect all the data, soil, loads, geometry, history. Was there a failure there? And always, always visit the site is my recommendation in any engineering problem, because once you see the mode of failure and what are the applicable theories and apply the Stables tool we call the observational methods and the Stables tool that Morgenstern used, that analogy or the pyramid with safety, cost, and functionality in our engineering thinking brought together. In other words, any person can build a bridge, but it will either cost super expensive or it will collapse, and that's what makes us engineers. So what I'm preaching here before jumping to the theory is sophisticated thinking prior to sophisticated analysis. And then you can use as much data as possible and as many methods as possible, as many software available, using latest technology, AI, drones, finite elements, all of that comes afterwards. And never forget the equations that changed our life. These are equations that changed my life, and I will use one of them in the theory, but engineering life is what you should live with. Like, for example, if you take this water bottle, you can check centrifugal force. You can even check if this one needs some prayers. If atmospheric pressure is there. So atmospheric pressure is around us. So is many other principles, and I will show some, like the centrifugal force. Jumping to a different chapter with some photos. Now, theory of laterally loaded piles. In theory, we allow in the classrooms to add these 2 cases. Why? Because lateral loads with moments and forces affect the top layers of the soil. Even if the soil is not elastic and continuum medium, because the vertical loads affect the lower layers, we allow this. I didn't put an uplift force because this is way more complicated and not easy to sum these 2 analyses. But I will come back to that later. Back to the classroom where we explain the rigid theory and flexible theory, we have to develop the transfer lengths. L0 is like a constant coming on 4th root of 4 times the modulus of the pile, the inertia of the pile, divided by the soil characteristic K. I don't want to give it a name, but let's say K, which represent the elasticity of the soil. Even with that, you see that the soil will behave rigid if the length embedded in the ground is less than L0, which is the transfer length, and it behaves flexible like a snake if L is higher than 3 times L0. But there is a missing link. What happens in between? Many teachers, professors say, well, use your judgment, interpolate. And that's not true. I want to mention that in design in real life, Y0 is usually between 5 millimeters, 2 centimeters allowed, depending on the height of the structure of the wind turbine, and Y prime, the angle, same between 0.5 and 2 degrees. Maximum moment should be checked. It's different than vertical load. Lateral load are can be highly critical for the inner structural integrity of the pile, and I will explain why. Back to the theories, the constitutive equation, equilibrium equations, P equal KY, M equal AI, second derivative with respect to the lateral deformation and the vertical embedment. The equilibrium equation, combining these two, will give us the governing differential equation. And this is for the static case of a flexible pile. These are, if you want to take a snapshot, some typical values of K and different soil, clay, and sand. And jumping to the result of that theory, it will give us the equation of flexible pile behavior under static load. And look how this equation is developed. Still, we are talking homogeneous soil, elastic median, so very small deformation. I'm showing how we can keep going with more complication. It's not a simple problem. And jumping to the rigid pile, a rigid theory with Y0 lateral deformation is linear, the pile is rigid, and the rigid pile behavior or the lateral deformation with respect to depth is given with using the top moment lateral force at the top. And this is a demonstration. I had to buy a jar of mayonnaise to take this picture in the hotel. The same straw can be flexible in sand, but rigid in mayonnaise. So what I'm really talking about is feel it. Everything is in the palm of your hands. Here, L0 is related to the E and I of the pile, K, which is the strength of the soil, here represented by your fingers. And if I take the bottle, for example, and I push it laterally, each finger is a finite element. And if the fingers are strong, you break the pile. That's why structural integrity is important. But if the pile is strong and rigid, all my fingers will move linear. And if I get a strong guy here and holds the pile strong, it will flex. Load testing is the best way to get those parameters before developing the theory, because you can, by reverse matching, obtain K from both static equations. And jumping now to the new theory I developed when I was a student. The question was, sitting on a chair, my professor was Professor Brio, my mentor, asked me to stand up. And I stood up and he said, hit on the chair vertically. And I hit the chair vertically and he said, can you guess if it's glued to the floor? Theoretically, I said, I don't know if it's glued to the floor. And then he said, hit it laterally. So I hit it laterally with same force and it moved. Said, you see, we can see better when you hit a pile laterally. And we created the pile integrity testing by lateral movement. And I said, okay, what do I do now? I said, go develop the theory. And when I developed the theory with a discrete element and going in dynamics, you have to add the dashpot and going 4th degree, 2nd degree with the mass, the speed, and by doing so, it took me like 2 years of crunching numbers. And if you type the solution in font 16, so now we're jumping from static to dynamic cyclic loading, the equation was 33 meters long. And in practice, future in life, I made my workers carry it so they know how important their work is in the field. I don't know if this video can play. Can you play it, please, Russell? You have to go to the play button somewhere in the bottom. Yeah. The equation, when you use a software developed specifically for it, will give you exactly how much the pile is flexing. This is a typical pile, but you can have sometimes two bubbles if you want, or a rigid, and I will explain why with this demonstration. Can you play it, please? So in this demonstration, you look at the green line is the flexible theory, the blue line is the rigid theory, the dashed red line is the new theory, a new dynamic theory. So how do we see or verify if the new dynamic theory makes sense? We use a very slow frequency. So we input a very slow frequency to this theory and see if it matches the static results that is a well-known theory. And then compare it when L is less than L0 and when L is more than 3L0. But more importantly, when L is in between. And this is where we solve the missing link. And if you maybe push it a little bit towards the end, you will see that when L what I want to show you, is when L here, you're changing L. L0 is 3 meters, 3L0 is 10. But when you put an L in between, the length, embedded length in between, the red line does not go in between blue and green. At the top, it can go beyond. So we discovered that averaging is a mistake. And that paper in 1996 was awarded best paper of ASC that year. Here you can see how the red dotted line jumped onto the blue rigid theory line when L is close to L0. So we were able to prove that the existing theories are correct and the new theory is even better. I will jump to applications. This is a project design build. So I designed this new jetty in Nigeria. You can play here to see how they were dredging. It's a huge project. Dredging operation to clear the land. And here I'm on site. That was about 12 years ago. This is the top view of the new jetty, first part. Again, Solje, soil, geometry, loads. And this is an idea of what loads we were expecting. You can see the size by looking at the car underneath. So you're talking huge loads. Here, as you see it on the ship, and what to expect with the mooring load was about 100 tons per mollard. So every 20 meters, you have 100 tons lateral to be taken by the piles on the jetty. Can you play it, please? And so this is how we developed the project, and then came the dredging phases. You were dredging at 8 meters first, and then dredging to 12 meters. And you see the impact using 3D finite element, again, after checking using the analytical theory. Some results: expected displacement, 6 millimeters, 10 millimeters. Impact load, we check the impact of a big ship in the other direction, you have to do that. The facade of the piles, the moments in each pile, the displacements and moments in each pile. I will just show, and this is a recent photo after all of this has been done. So this was taken about 2 months ago, and it's in operation. Unfortunately, the inclinometers I installed to take measurements are gone. That's the disadvantage of not being on top of things all the time. So this is my final slide, almost in conclusion, if you want to take a snapshot. In general, always check the data you have. Don't rely on intuition, and don't limit yourself to the code, because the code does not include every project. In laterally loaded piles, avoid short piles unless they're subjected to only impact loads like road barriers. Use them when you conduct load testing because you have a simpler result. But then when you're designing, try to stick to flexible piles, long, strong, long piles, because of, if you can imagine combining cyclic loading like a wind turbine and then uplift is like having a nail in a piece of wood. You really want the strength to be at the bottom, not at the top. And finally, I like this saying by Steve Jobs: the only way to do great work is to love what you do, and it connects with the morning talk of ISSMGE. And here I like to thank you all. I'm still alive.
Thank you, Mark, and we have time, and if somebody has some questions, you're welcome.
No question. That means I did very well.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you,
Mark.
sir. Thank you very much. I would like to request Professor Babu to hand over a moment of appreciation to Professor Mark Balouse.
One more. I need new luggage.
To move to the next keynote speaker.
Now we have the second distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Lee Fook Hao. Professor Lee Fook Hau is an emeritus professor, National University of Singapore, Singapore. He is an emeritus professor at the National University of Singapore, NUS, where he established Southeast Asia's only geotechnical centrifuge. He is a fellow of the Singapore Academy of Engineering, published 240 plus papers with an H index of 42, supervised 40 plus PhD and master students and 20 postdocs, many now in senior academic role worldwide. He has led about $11 million in funded research, visiting professor in China and India, member of WFEO CEO DRM task group. He is a registered professional engineer. Most welcome, sir. With pride and privilege, we are inviting you to deliver your keynote lecture.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me express my deep appreciation to the organizers of this conference for giving me this opportunity to come to Goa. This is my second visit to Goa. The first time I came was in 2008, and Goa left me a very deep impression. I'm most happy to be here. I have retired from active service at the National University of Singapore since about 2 years ago. So this is, in a sense, a recollection of my recent work just before my retirement, and so I'll be happy to share it with you. The lecture came at a very interesting point of time because I'm also writing a book on chemical soil treatment, so I thought this is a good chance to collect all my thoughts and put it together. So without further ado, let me just bring you to the title of this morning's presentation. The title is Recent Developments in Quality Assessment and Control in Deep Mixing and Jet Grouting and Their Engineering Implications. It's quite a mouthful, so I will try to go through the topics that I would be talking about. But before that, let me just try to get a fix on this. Right, so this is going forward. Right, okay, so these are the topics that I'll be going through. Hello? Right, so the next column should be 0. It should be 0. There should be no dependency between different columns. And when we look at the results by Larson and our own results from model testing, we found exactly the same thing. The circumferential scale of fluctuation is about half a meter to 1 meter. The radial scale of fluctuation is even shorter, at most about quarter of a diameter of a column. The circumferential scale of fluctuation is slightly larger, up to about 1 diameter, one column diameter. But it's definitely not 24 to 37 meters. So the question is, where does the 24 to 37 meter come from? It comes from the in situ variation in water content of the soil. So the in situ water variation in water content will actually impose a signature on the scale of fluctuation. The impact on the COV is generally not so significant, but it's more significant on the scale of fluctuation. So now, the last part here, practical implication. Okay, so the first thing is obviously, during the mixing itself, pay attention to the column positioning error. And if you are doing mixing at a layer that is far below the ground surface, maybe 20 meters, the off verticality becomes more important, because a 1% off verticality at 20 meters means your column is 200 millimeter off. So that is actually quite important. And one way you can do it to mitigate this error, of course, at 1%, many of us will think it is the limit of achievability. Why not use a larger column? There are people who use 2-meter column, and a 2-meter diameter column means you actually reduce your positioning error to 20% of the radius instead of 40% of the radius, which means that you achieve better contiguity between columns. Okay, the other trick that you can do is, because there are now a lot of machines in which you can do 2 or 3 columns at the same time. This is the machine on the left side. One of those machines with multiple shafts. That one on the left side, the drawing on the left side shows a machine with 3 mixing shafts. Now, if you have a situation like this, and you are doing something like a subway station box, which is basically a long rectangular structure, maybe 50 meters across by 200 meter in length. Then obviously, usually the line of main compression.
Professor, you're okay, or can you close? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So basically, the thing is obviously to orientate the machine in the up-down direction, so that you are able to get better autocorrelation, better. You can lower this coefficient of variation. Okay, so normalizing, I have already talked about it, so I think I'll just give it a miss. And offsetting the effect of in-situ soil variation, I have actually talked a little bit about that, so I think I'll leave this part, and some deterministic. Okay, the main thing is this. One of the point I want to make is this. Instead of looking at the sample minima, focusing on the sample minima, focus on the COV, because the COV directly addresses the spatial variation, which is an indicator of workmanship. Okay, there is some. I also have some slides on the stable acceptance criterion, but I think I'll just leave it there. So this is a summary of finding. The main thing is don't use the sample minima. Use something like a 5 percentile, 10 percentile strength, or something like a mean into 1 minus the z-score multiplied by the COV, which actually captures the spatial variation instead of the sample minima. So the last slide. This is a book that I've written, and if you're interested, I won't say anymore. If you're interested, please talk to my colleagues at, I think it's stall C9, somewhere outside. Just feel free to talk to them, okay? I think that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And if you have it, actually, we had a message from the organizers that we have to close the session, and if you need any discussions with Professor on some clarifications, maybe you can talk to him later.
Yes, sir, we can continue with the QA session.
Yeah, please give the memento.
Yeah. To hand over the memento to the speaker, I invite Dr. A.P. Singh. I request the chair and the co-chair to give the closing remarks for this session. The chief guest will be here in a while, so if time permits, we will also take a couple of questions. Requesting to the chair and co-chair to provide the closing remarks of this session.
Yeah, I think we had two brilliant presentations this morning, one by Dr. Mark and the other one is by Professor Hugh and Lee. And then, both were brilliant. And if you have any questions, maybe you can still take. I think they want us to have some discussion on this, either to Professor Dr. Mark or to Professor Lee. Pardon? I know, but I think I'll ask the organizers. They have some. Anita, you have to say something? They can take. They seem to want a questions. I'm not sure. Yeah. Or they can discuss.
I have a question about using of deep soil mixing in the sensitive clays. In the sensitive clays, how we can use the deep soil mixing in the sensitive clays? Can we use it, or what's the special requirements for quality control? Yeah, I'm Shahab from Canada. We have so many sensitive, super soft sensitive clays, and people, engineers doesn't want to use soil improvement, special deep soil mixing. Could you please give your comments of, is it possible to use deep soil mixing in sensitive clays, and also what's the special quality control requirements?
How do I turn this on? Hello, hello, hello. Thank you very much for your question. I have personally not worked in sensitive soils, but my understanding of sensitive soils is a material that is very stiff when you first, is in an undisturbed state, and then when you disturb it, it becomes a very liquid kind of a substance. That's my very limited understanding of sensitive soil. It seems to me that if you disturb the sensitive soil, you end up with a material that has a water content far higher than its liquid limit. Am I correct to assume that? So it will be far above the liquid limit. Now, there is something about deep mixing and jet grouting you need to be careful, especially deep mixing, because I only talked about the mixing if your water content is too high. There's also a problem if your water content is too low. If your water content is too low, if you use, people ask me, why don't I use a binder that has a very low water content, very thick binder? Yes, you don't have this problem in sensitive clay, but we would have this problem in our high plasticity marine clay, because what happens is that when you mix the binder into the clay, the total water content is actually lower than the liquid limit, or at around the liquid limit. And then what happens is the mixture stuck to the blade. They get stuck to the blade. So your blade may be turning, there's a whole lump of soil stuck to the blade turning, there's no mixing at all. There is zero mixing if you use too low a water content. And our test on mixability, which I didn't show here, indicates that you need a mixing water content that is about 1.3 to 1.5 times the liquid limit of the soil in order to get it to mix. So my advice is that if you want to try to mix sensitive clay, which has a water content far higher than liquid limit, then perhaps you want to do some dry mixing, dry powder mixing, rather than liquid mixing. The reason why is because we find that for our clay, we actually have to add water to the soil to get it to mix. Otherwise, the guy wouldn't mix. So therefore, the porosity, the white ratio of the soil after mixing is actually higher than that of the soil before mixing. The only benefit that we get is that you end up with a soil that is harder because of the cementation action. For your case, I would recommend, just off the top of my head, I would suggest that you try using dry powder mixing to start the thing off. Of course, the other question is, what is the strength of the undisturbed soil? You may just need enough power in your mixing machine to actually break up the soil. You may just need it to have enough power to break up the soil. Now, what I found is that in jet grouting has a problem for going through very stiff soil. If you try to go through something with a strength of exceeding 100 kilopascal, undisturbed strength, you may not be able to break it up completely. But mechanical mixing, you can, if you have enough power. So you need a high power machine to do it, plus perhaps you can try using dry powder mixing. So that's my off the cuff.
Any questions, please? Thank you, Professor Lee, for any further question? Yeah, I think
Professor, can you help me the jade grouted mixing and by rotation of the blade mixing? Jade grouting mixing, the velocity is a very important parameter. So you have to specify the particular things, whether it is a jet grouted column or a deeply mixed column.
Okay, basically
mechanical mixing.
Yeah. Okay, first I will address the mechanical mixing part first, because I've done a bit more work on mechanical mixing and the RPM. You're talking about the RPM, right? The rates, the revolutions per minute. Is that right? You're looking at. You're asking me about. Are you asking about the effect of the rate of rotation? Yes, the effect of the rate. Okay, basically we actually did a series of studies on the effect of the rate of rotation. Now there is I didn't have time to talk about it over here, because we actually studied that together with the design of the mixing blade, the location of the nozzle coming out. The location of the nozzle has an important effect. If you just put a nozzle, which is the basic design, is to have a nozzle at the bottom of the stem, and our thing just the binder just comes out at the bottom, and you expect it to flow to the outside, you will need fairly high RPM, what we call rate of rotation, to get it to push it out. But if you want to get a better spread of that binder, you can actually use a hole you can actually design. This is something that soil engineers don't usually think about. You can design it with a hole right at the center, something along the middle of the blade, and something on the edge of the blade. And that will help to even out your radial distribution of the binder. And this is one of the things that we have done. The other thing you can do is obviously you can put in some fins to actually encourage the radial spreading. The idea in mixing is always to encourage circulation. If you have no circulation, you have no mixing. It's circulation of soil that actually encourages the mixing. So basically, this is for deep mixing. For jet grouting, I would imagine that a similar thing would actually apply, except that in jet grouting, you'll find that you actually end up using a much higher binder content. The binder content for jet grouting is much higher. The reason is because what happens is that a lot of the soil, it floats up to the surface and it gets expelled by the dust. So in the early days, people say that jet grouting is a replacement process. It's not purely a replacement process. It's replacement plus mixing process. So jet grouting, I don't think anyone has done any work on the rate of rotation of the nozzle itself. But the velocity, yes, the velocity is obviously related. The velocity of the jet, which is the pressure, related to the pressure of the jet, is obviously important because it determines how far you can cut and how big a cavity you can actually make with that cutting jet. So, but it also depends on the strength of the soil. So, as I said, if you have a soil that has an unconfined compressive strength of something like 100 kilopascal, you may not be able to do very much with jet grouting. That's my understanding of the whole thing. But jet grouting has other advantages because you don't need high torque. Your machine will turn, even if you use a relatively low torque. But if you use deep mixing, if the blade doesn't turn, then it doesn't turn, and then you need a very high torque on the machine to turn that blade. So there are pros and cons in using the two. Of course, deep mixing also use larger equipment, higher headroom. So if you have headroom,
If you combine both,
there are people.
velocity as well as the mechanical mixing.
Okay, there is actually a company in Japan called RASJET, R-A-S-J-E-T, which actually combines the principle of deep mixing and jet grouting. And what they have is this: they have a series of blades just like deep mixing, but on the end of the blade, they have a jet grouting nozzle on each blade. So they are able to extend that. In fact, one of the slides I show, which is on the new nickel highway construction, they were using the RASJET. So if you look at the distribution of the strength, it doesn't look like a log normal. Most of the time, it looks like a log normal.
By combining both, you can minimize the different quality control.
Yeah.
The coefficient of variation in strength will not come this much if you combine jet grouting plus the mechanical mixing.
Yes, but the most important advantage is that you can get columns up to 4-meter diameter. That is productivity. That's where productivity comes in. So in one up, down, and up, you are actually able to improve a large volume of soil, a large column. You see, if you do small 1 meter column by 1 meter column, it will take you a long time. But if you do 4-meter column, then you are obviously into a much higher rate of productivity. I think that is the driving motivation for them. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, any questions to Dr. Mark Bellows? We can take one question.
Is anyone asking? Yeah. Sir.
Request sir to please be on the dais. Request
Yes.
Mark Bellows, sir, to please be on the
Always.
dais.
Yeah, sir, please.
Here?
Yeah. On the dais.
Scary.
So I'd like to have a very basic question with you regarding the pile load testing. So you have very nicely explained the philosophy of laterally loaded piles. What philosophy do you follow when the pile is loaded combinedly? Means simultaneously vertical load is there and this lateral load is also there, particularly in case of rock sucketed pile.
What I understood is when you have combined lateral
Combined
load,
loading, lateral plus vertical.
vertical
and
down
how
or
it is,
uplift?
down.
Down is easy.
Yeah, down, vertical, and lateral.
Yes.
And when it acts simultaneously, what philosophy do you take for the design?
Well, I can tell you that when you're pushing down and lateral,
from my experience, they don't come together simultaneously. But even if they do, we allow to combine them separately, like design separately and then combine. Because of what I explained, the top layers act for lateral, like you take teeth 2, 3, 4 times diameter, that's the soil that's acting, and then when you push down, you're impacting the lower layers, so you can add these two.
But this is our
different
convenience for doing the design, taking both the loads separately and then clubbing it and then finally finalizing the parameters based on that, whichever is more safer. In actual practice, it is not so. So can we take because if we apply the vertical loading, certainly we are going to get some benefit in the lateral resistance. So that way we can economize the pile dimensions if we do the analysis when both the loads are applied simultaneously and impact is taken care of. So I think you can put some comment on this.
I am sorry I didn't understand the whole thing because the sound.
Yeah.
But we can discuss later because of lack of time. I apologize. I mean, we can have a closed session with whoever he wants.
Sure, sir.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. To the chair and co-chair, we are winding up with the session. The chief guest is almost here. So request any further comment from your end and we'll wind up, sir.
No further comments, and I would like to thank the organizers for giving this opportunity. Thank you very much. Any announcement?
Thank you, sir. To hand over a memento to the chair and co-chair, request Dr. Ashish Juneja to come forward. Request Dr. Ashish Juneja to hand over a memento to the chair and co-chair of Plenary Session 1.
Hello. Namaskar. I said namaskar. A warm welcome to one and all for this inaugural session of first Geotech Asia International Conference hosted in this beautiful land of Goa. We have with us today the respected Honorable Cabinet Minister for State for PWD, Captain of Ports and Legal Metrology, Shriman Digambarji Kamath. As the chief guest of today's function, let us welcome Honorable Minister Sir on this occasion. May I request Dr. Anil Joseph, President, Indian Geotechnical Society and Organizing Chairman of First Geotech Asia 2025 to escort the chief guest of today's function, Sri Digambarji Kamath, on the dais. It's a proud privilege to all of us to host delegates from all over the world for this first Geotech Asia International Conference 2025. And here we are all set for this inaugural session, requesting Professor Ashish Juneja, Organizing Chairman, First Geotech Asia 2025, and Professor from Indian Institute of Technology,
Bombay to deliver welcome address, please.
Honorable Minister Digambarji Kamath, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pride and privilege to extend a warm welcome to the Honorable Minister of Goa, Shri Digambarji Kamath. On behalf of the Geotech Asia 2025 Organizing Committee and all the attendees, your gracious presence today adds immense prestige and meaning to this inaugural, and we also deeply are honored to have you taken time out from busy schedule to join us. This conference is the first of its kind under the new umbrella Geotech Asia banner, which is being held in the Goa from 7th to 10th October at this very grand hotel. Over the next few days, we will move into theme, more deeper into theme, that is GeoVadis, which is the future of geotechnical engineering. We will explore innovations, sustainability, which is quite the frontier of the geotechnical research and practice. It's particularly fitting to hold this conference in Goa because it's a land where soil, slopes, coastal terrains, and a monsoon all influence the environmental sensitivity, and it has a major dynamic confluence over here. The challenges here, of course, are because of hillside instability, erosion, groundwater management. The foundation designs in coastal zones are ample. They have ample examples, and it's a much larger seed which goes into the geotechnical challenges which face across several countries. Wish to recall a few points about Goa's journey under your esteemed leadership. This state has announced recently a grand vision of 2037. It seeks to broaden its economy beyond tourism and build long-term resilience. The state has also overseen strength, governance, infrastructure expansion, and environmental balance. The contribution you will find from our geotechnical community is precisely aligned with the vision of the state. It offers engineering insight, resilient and sustainable design. We look at the technological innovation that our geotechnical solutions offer, and in terms of the face of extreme weather and the evolving demands. You will find, sir, that in the next 4 days, we will engage a technical session across several themes. Many of such you will find that really are the in-house what your government is looking into. We have distinguished international and national delegates from various countries. We have very top and esteemed guests from our own country. Our local stakeholders, they will engage meaningful dialogue in order to make this conference even more success. Honorable Minister, your presence inspires us and sends out a strong signal that this state government, it values scientific evidence, excellence, sustainable infrastructure, and also values the collaboration between government, academia, and the industry. We hope that through this conference, it can strengthen the bridge between research policy of this state, Goa, and across the country, and perhaps jointly empower projects in Goa that showcase best practices in geotechnical design and innovation. Once again, sir, on behalf of the participants and organizers, I welcome you to Geotech Asia 2025. We look forward to your guidance and blessings to inaugurate this event. Thank you. Jai Goa.
Thank you very much, Professor Ashish Juneja. Jai Goa, Jai India. Requesting Professor Dasakamurthy, Organizing Chairman and First Geotech Asia 2025, and Professor IIT Bombay, to present a bouquet of flowers to the respected chief guest of today's function, Honorable Minister for PWD, Shri Digambarji Kamath. Starting with this or inaugurating this first Geotech Asia, Geotech, 7 alphabet word. On 7th, we have got in Indian Sanskriti, 7 has got its peculiar importance because it is considered that this universe is formed of 7 mantras called as Vyavruti. There are 7 rishis of this Vyavruti or mantras. Sky also witnesses presence of 7 rishis called Saptarshis. The chariot of sun has got 7 horses tied to it. There are 7 styles of dance of Lord Shiva. Earth is made up of 7 continents surrounded by 7 oceans. Then in India there are 7 holy rivers. It is also considered that to ascend to heaven there are 7 steps. Rainbow has got 7 colors, 7 days of week, 7 wonders of the world. And Lord Jesus on cross said 7 sayings. So even in Indian classical music, there are 7 swaras or 7 notes. So let us touch upon this inaugural session with 7 souls as well. Because on 7th of October, we are lighting this traditional lamp. So let us bring 7 souls together along with our Honorable Minister for PWD, also Organizing Chair Anil Josephji, Dasakamurthy Sir, Ashish Juneja Sir, and also requesting Professor K. Jian Shu, Vice President Asia ISSMG, and Professor Chung Sik Yu, President Fed IGS, to join. Also requesting Dr. Mark Bellows, President ISSMG, to join the dignitaries on the days to light the traditional lamps. Let me take this privilege to introduce to you the chief guest of today's function, a colossal personality in the political arena of state of Goa. Sir has served this state for over last 4 decades. Was elected as a councillor of Margao Municipal Council in the year 1985. And then Sir served as a cabinet minister from 1999 to 2007. Sir served as a chief minister of Goa from 2007 to 2012. Served as a leader of opposition in Goa Legislative Assembly from 2019 to 2022. And Sir has been active in framing. He was a pioneer to frame as a chief minister sports policy of the state of Goa. Sir was pioneer in framing the cultural policy of state of Goa as Chief Minister of Goa. He is actively involved in sports as President of Goa Badminton Association from 1984 to 2001, President of Goa Swimming Association from 2001 to 2024, President of Swimming Federation of India from 2007 to 2019, such a long span, and Sir has won prestigious awards as Bakshi Bahadur Jivadada Kerkar State Award from Government of Goa for his work in the field of sports. And Sir is known to be a humble person in the state of Goa, currently sworn in as Cabinet Minister for PWD, Captain of Ports and Legal Metrology in government led by Chief Minister Dr. Pramodji Sawant. Let us welcome with a round of applause the chief guest of today's function, Honorable Minister for PWD, Government of Goa, Shri Digambar Vasant Kamath. May I take this privilege to request Honorable Minister, sir, to address the gathering, please.
Good morning, everybody. Professor Ashish Juneja, Professor Dasakaya Smurti, and Dr. Anil Joseph, organizing chairpersons of Geotech Asia 2025, eminent members of the Indian Geotechnical Society, representatives from International Society for Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering, distinguished delegates, and my friends. In fact, my beloved Chief Minister Dr. Pramod Sawant was to be the chief guest for this function. Since he holds the portfolio of education, technical education, he would have been the right man and he would have loved to interact with you about Goa's policy on education and technical education. Since he had to go somewhere due to urgency, I represent him as the Minister for PWD. Friends, I am very happy that the first Geotech Asia International Conference 2025 is being held in the beautiful state of Goa, which has nature's, we always say that Goa has nature's blessings. Goa is one state. Yesterday, Mr. Amit Shah described Goa as a bindi on the this of our Indian map. So that is Goa. India gets an opportunity after 4 or 5 years to host this event, probably because you have many 25, 28 members. And first time India got an opportunity, they decided to host in Goa. So I must thank all of you for having hosted this prestigious event in the state of Goa. It adds to the Goa's prestige. And we always say that Goa is a destination for festivals. We have International Film Festival being hosted in the state of Goa every year. We have a Purple Fest for Divyangs being hosted in the state of Goa. We have lots of international events coming up in the state of Goa. In fact, the first Chogam, which was hosted in somewhere in 1970, was hosted in the state of Goa. So that has been the name, fame of Goa as far as hosting big events are concerned. Friends, this is an era of technology. And in the era of technology, you cannot be behind. It is like survival of the fittest. So in the technological era, we always say that this is an era of technological people. I had a friend, Mr. Raghunath Mashelkar, an eminent personality, scientist, who had prepared a document, India 2037, in which he mentioned if India has to become superpower in the world, what are the requirements? What has India has to accomplish by 2037? And one point which he harped was technical institutes, number of technical institutes. So that is why technology has always been given more importance in the state of Goa. As you enter Goa from airport, you can see some of the good bridges that the bridge on the Zuari River is actually a very excellent piece of technological feature where you are going to have a revolving restaurant on the top. Even for that, work has already commenced. So technology is also given importance in the state of Goa. I welcome all of you to this beautiful state of Goa, and I have no doubt that you will go back with sweet memories about the state of Goa. And I was requesting him that when you get an opportunity next time to host it after 4 or 5 years, make it a point to keep Goa in your mind so that your delegates will be very, very happy. I have been recently elected to the World Aquatic Bureau. We had a meeting in Singapore where 205 countries participated. Now everybody was asking me when they told me that I am from Goa. They were saying, when you are holding World Swimming Championships in Goa. So that sort of enthusiasm I saw amongst the foreign delegates who wanted to host me to host some event on aquatics in Goa. So you don't have to introduce anybody what is Goa. The moment you land in any country and you tell them that you are from Goa, the reaction is, oh, you are from Goa. This is the reaction of people in other countries. So I welcome all the international delegates. I'm sure they also will go back with sweet memories. And there will be consensus next time when you try to host the event in India. Everybody will say that we must host it in Goa. I wish you all the best. I'm sure that this technological gathering will come out with lots of papers, lots of things which will make country proud. My beloved Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has a dream. He wants India to be Vikasit Bharat by 2047. If you want to make Vikasit Bharat, you have to make each state Vikasit. So my Chief Minister also has a dream to make Goa Vikasit before that, before 2047. And in that connection, we are trying to bring, we have seen now changes at the airport. We have seen changes in the trains. Vande Bharat has been introduced. Lots of technological things. Bullet train likely to come from Bombay to Gujarat. That work is also going on. So India is trying to give a clear message to the world that we will not lag behind in technology. We will compete with the topmost countries in the world, and one day will come where India will be the best. With this, I wish you all the best. God bless you. God bless the entire your conference. Jai Hind, Jai Goa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister for PWD Government of Goa, Digambarji Kamath. Requesting Honorable Minister, sir, to digitally inaugurate this conference. Volume 1 and 2, edited by Ashish Juneja sir, Anil Joseph sir, and Dasaka Murthy sir. Please let us wish the three eminent personalities in the field of technology. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of organizing committee, we would like to felicitate the chief guest of today's function by presenting a shawl and memento to the state government, requesting Dasakamurthy sir, Juneja sir, please join. And this memento on behalf of organizers to Government of Goa, Also, title sponsors of this event, Sunny Sanklaji wishes to present a memento to the respected chief guest of today's function. Present Honorable Minister for PWD. Honorable
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your kind attention, please? Immediately after the exhibition inauguration, we will be reassembling here for the next plenary session 2. Request all of you to kindly be back in assembly. Thank you.